Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your daily astrology and tarot card reading for Tuesday, July 16th of 2024. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. Let's go ahead and hop into it to see what we have going on today. First card of the day, overall energy, we have the Eight of Discs, or the Eight of Coins, in reverse. The Eight of Coins in reverse. Maybe we have to go back to the drawing board to see how we are working on things in our life. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck. It does speak to just continually putting one step in front of the other, doing the hard work, especially the stuff that no one else sees. And maybe that's really what this is coming down to. Maybe the hard work that we do, it's like generally, like, especially, I'm to think of like an athlete, say, right? So let me just try and collect my thoughts here. Like with an athlete, right? Most of the work that they put in is the unseen work. It's the practice, right? It's the 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 hours that they put in on the practice field. What we see in the games and everything like that, that's only a fraction of what they do, you know? And that could be said for anybody in any line of work. A lot of the work that we do is not the work that's seen. It's not the work that's glamorized. It's not the part that is put on the pedestal or is put out in front for everyone to see. It's the stuff that is seemingly the everyday, the mundane, the not so exciting. And Eight of Pentacles is in reverse is reminding you to not throw in the tile. Oh my gosh. You see how I really am from the South here. People sometimes wonder if I'm from the South, and I was like, you'd be surprised sometimes that just the country just slips out. You don't want to throw in the towel on the hard work that you've been putting in when no one's looking. This is if anything to double down on that. Now the challenge to all that is the Temperance card in reverse. I got this card recently as well. If it's not natural, then maybe we have to adjust the way that we're doing, adjust the way that we're moving, adjust, the work that we're putting in, the practice, the hours. Maybe we have to adjust it because if things aren't really feeling balanced and just, if we're not having the ability to adapt to these situations, if it doesn't feel natural, then maybe that's why we're feeling the need to maybe go back to the drawing board a little bit here, right? Now, astrologically, we do have a lot of stuff that's going on. It's really mostly the moon that's going to be making aspects. Remember that it is in Scorpio, but it's going to trine Saturn. Then it's going to square Mercury. Then it's going to quincunx Chiron. Then it's going to trine the sun. Then it's going to oppose Uranus. Then it's going to oppose Mars. Then it's going to trine Neptune. And then it'll finally enter into Sag. So we get all of that on Tuesday. And I can go into each one of these, but just the sheer number of aspects that this moon will make, and it's not going to go void of course because Neptune is at 29 degrees of Pisces retrograde. So emotionally, we're going to be kind of pulled all over the damn place today. And it starts with that beautiful aspect to Saturn, the trine. And it ends with the one to Neptune. So I think there's an element here where we have to kind of look at reality a little bit. Even though Pisces is more so about the spiritual and the dream world, we kind of have to look at reality. We have to look to see what is working. What is beautiful. We have to be able to look at the miracles in our life, what to be grateful for. And we have to ask ourselves, with this moon in Scorpio, because the moon in Scorpio is especially, with these deeper emotions, but Scorpio is also a bit of an investigator too. We're trying to investigate to figure out how exactly do we feel about these things? How exactly do we feel about the world? That's the whole moon trine over to Saturn. How do we feel about these things? How do we feel about the world? Where do we feel like our place is within this world? Where do we feel, how do we line in the hierarchy of the world and social status? Square to Mercury. Okay, how do we feel about the way that we communicate what's in our heart? Is this actually like truly authentic to who we really are or we want? Are we actually saying what we really want? Are we pushing the boundaries on what we want to say? Are we kind of holding down and stifling what is in our heart and what we really do want to say? Quincunx to Chiron. It's hard to know exactly right now. The Chiron. Trying to figure out everything with Chiron and Aries. This comes down to how resilient you are as a warrior when things aren't 100% smooth. Maybe you're not as strong as you used to be. Maybe you have a bum arm or a bum leg. Maybe you feel like you have something going against you, but this is about not overly identifying with the scars and overly identifying with the wounds. Stop picking at the scabs emotionally. Trine to the sun. Like I said, this can be an incredible healing moment. Now, of course, the moon would much rather be where the sun is. The sun is kind of ambivalent to Scorpio, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like it much rather be where the sun is. But this can be an incredibly great healing moment, especially from a psychological standpoint, about, where do we find our comfortability, and, what edges are we willing to push, or just, are we just trying to find some emotional edge, or are we just really looking to connect with somebody? And maybe this is about having just more compassion for yourself. Oppose Uranus. Yeah, this can be random shit that comes out of nowhere. Same with the Mars. Definitely random shit that comes out of nowhere. Because I would expect that by the time that this aspect happens, that there could be some sort of emotional upheaval, especially with Mars and Uranus coming off of their conjunction, and then it joins Neptune. So it's like, oh, what did you think about this? And then it goes into Sag. What do you believe about it? So it's like, it's an interesting day where we can be pulled all over in many different directions, and we're having to learn how to balance that. I'm trying to find some sense of naturalness to it. I think there's an element here where we are having difficulty accepting what is real. And people are either saying that things are false, or false flags, or faked, or staged. And it's like, there are so many stages in life. There's so many places where our attention can be pulled. I'm literally getting like the image of like a person or a crowd, and all around them are different stages with different music playing, and all the music is converging, and it's drowned. They're almost like drowning each other out and trying to figure out what stage has the best music or who's playing the truth. And with a day like today, it can definitely be a bit overwhelming as far as all that goes, because we're getting messages from all these different sides. But ultimately, you're going to have to make that judgment call on, what you are going to believe in. And things that you feel like are fake or false are probably true, and things that you think that are true are probably fake. So not everything is a conspiracy, but there are some things that are conspiracies, and I think we have to try to find the discernment on trying to figure out what those things are. But there's definitely there's definitely a theme of people not believing what is being presented to them. And I think it's always good to question your reality, but I do think there's also like this balance where it's like sometimes we can overly question things and not realize that, hey, miracles happen, and that sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Final card, I have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse as well. Yeah, this is, like I said, there's an element here where we're kind of having to rethink on a lot of things. We're having to kind of go back to the drawing board. We're having to kind of just look at where things are right now. I think this is a day where we kind of just take stock of what's going on. Like, we almost have to take inventory in our life. This is like a spiritual inventory kind of day, especially with this moon in Scorpio. We have to take inventory of all of our emotions today. And it starts early on with the trine over to Saturn. So we have to take stock of how we feel about our relationships, how we feel about politics in the world, how we feel about our family, how we feel about our job, how do we feel about our purpose, how do we feel about our health. We're taking stock on all these things. We're taking inventory on them. And, like I said, by the time that the moon comes into Sag, we're getting ready for another full moon in Capricorn in just a few days' time. And then we'll be coming into Leo season, and things are going to get more dramatic. So take the time to take inventory of all those things. Try not to overly think things or try to figure everything out. This is not about figuring everything out. This is about you discerning what is real, what is true, what is factual, and what is a delusion, what is a lie, what is trying to lead you astray. And ultimately, nobody can tell you what that is. That is a journey that you have to take on your own. But we can come together, we can help each other, we can encourage each other, but ultimately those decisions on what you deem as true and factual and what is not is ultimately on you. Solar plexus chakra. This is about, The frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. That's what it all comes down to, you and what you can do. Your level of personal responsibility, personal accountability. You know, it's easy, I think, to point to the world around us and blame the world around us for why things are the certain way they are or why our lives might be what they are. But you have such an incredible power within you that if you only just realize, if you just invoke a little bit of that power and you make a habit of invoking a little bit of that power every single day to the point where it does become natural, your life will turn around in a rather miraculous way. But if it's one thing that I've observed from the past few days is that God can show us miracles and people won't believe that it's even a miracle. They'll think it's something else. And that just shows me that there's honestly a crisis of faith. Now, you don't have to necessarily be religious to believe in miracles, but they happen. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But anyways, that's going to do it for this tarot/astrology reading for this Tuesday, July 16th. I trust that this message will assist you on your journey today. If you found this helpful at all, I'd appreciate it if you liked, shared, and subscribed to my YouTube channel here so you can receive these videos every single day, as well as my weekly astrology horoscope. The one this week, of course, will drop on Wednesday. But y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you all on the next video. Peace.